going over basically just how to start out. So let's go just download it here. GitHub. That's not GitHub. All right, so for this live stream, I'm just going to assume everyone's brand new. They don't really know anything. I'll assume that you have knowledge in Blender, but if you're not familiar with Python or the Blender API, I'm going to assume that you're brand new to this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the GitHub page here, this link here. You can find this in our Discord. I have it posted in the links and info channel. So head on over to this and click this green code button here and click download zip. So that'll download the whole repository, including the example blend file here. So yeah, let me open this up here. I'm just using WinRAR. It's free, sort of. They keep complaining and asking me to buy their thing, but I don't listen to that. All right, so here we have Blend My NFTs. And so the first thing I want you to note when you open it up, you have to move your blend file into the Blend My NFTs folder. It's a weird thing with Blender's directories. I'm still looking into a way around it, but that's how it has to work right now. That'll probably change in the future, but for right now, for commit number 169, I think we're at now. That's how it works. So let me see here. Oh yeah, sorry. Let me open up our text editor, or sorry, I won't call it that. IDE, Integrated Development Environment. So right now I'm using Visual Studio Code. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's just a IDE. It's free online, so you can just download it. It's by Microsoft. So I'm just opening Blend My NFTs here, just the folder. I have it located on my desktop for easy access. And by the way, this stream is recording. I've done some more research into better what's it called? Better streaming software. So I hope it'll record it properly this time. So I'm just going to go here to source and then go to main. So I have the Blend My NFTs file open here. I'm using Visual Studio Code because I'm more comfortable using that. I use it at my job. So this is just sort of how I like to go about using it. But Blender does have an inbuilt text editor that you can use.
Oi.
Oh yeah. Hello. Or you can use Blender's text editor, but I don't necessarily recommend it because it's not the greatest. It's got some things that are let's just say they're not ideal for the whole programming thing. But anyway, so we have our config file open here, and for this first demonstration, I'm going to show how the image generator works. Yeah, so let's get right into that. So the first thing we're going to change here is the number of NFTs per batch. So with Blend My NFTs, we split each, we split up all the possible NFTs into batches.
Yeah.
So we turn that, we can use the batches to generate different, is there a question in the chat? Okay. Yeah, we break it up into batches, and then we can render them in separate ways. So I'm just going to set this to 10 for this example here. For render batch, let's just put that to 1. So this is the batch number that we're going to be rendering. And then for the image name, let's set that to this place. This is just an example. Image file format. Here I have a link that links to Blender documentation. It'll give you all the formats for images, and with that, you can find little strings on the platform. So right now I'm just going to export this as a JPEG. And yeah, so just as a reminder, if anyone has any questions, please put them in the live stream chat, and I'll answer them as I see them there. So yeah, awesome. Was I on mute that whole time? Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, okay. I'm just gonna mute someone here in the chat if that's okay. I don't. Oh wait, is that permanent? I don't know how this works. I'm trying to see here. All right. Okay, Nicole, I'm gonna put you on mute just for now. If you have a question, please put it in the text thing, and I'll answer after that. Okay. All right. So. Okay, let's go back to it. Maybe I should do the event thing next time. I don't know how those work. I've been trying to figure them out. It's kind of confusing. Okay, so we have the image file format here. Oh, it wasn't. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Here, let me unmute you. Sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, I'll try to do the event thing next time. I'll figure that out. Okay. Anyway, so we have the image format here, and here is the file format. So this is just the directory to blend my NFTs. And for that, let me just show you how to get that up. So this is our blend my NFTs folder here, and here we can go to properties and then copy this location right here. And then because I'm using a Windows machine, I'm just going to be using the Windows save path right here. And the way I have blend my NFTs set up is kind of cool. It detects what operating system you're using and then automatically knows which one of these to use. So if you're on Mac, it'll use whatever your save path folder is here for Mac, and if you're on Windows, it'll use this one here for Windows as well. It'll also change the slash as well. So yeah. All right, after we've done that, we can come down here and set our max NFTs. Now, usually do this if you have like a big repository of attributes, like say right now with this cozy place, we have, last time I checked, 28 million possible combinations, which is insane. It's quite a lot. So we don't need that many. So let's set it to, for this example, I'm gonna set it to 20. Yeah, so here you can just limit it. The number of DNA for the NFTs will be limited to this number. Yeah, okay, so I'm just going through here. I'll come back to this after we've run the first the first program, the DNA generator and the batch sorter. So I'll come back to this. Let's just leave this as false for now. Enable viewport reset, just set that to true. It just changes it turns the cameras on in your Blender file, just the ones in the attribute collections and not the ones in script ignore. So I'll explain what I mean by that in a bit. Enable 3D models, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to most of this later, actually. Let's just scroll down here. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I need to bring up. So enable rarity. I'll explain that in a minute, and then run preview. Let's just run it. Let's run it and see what happens first. I'll explain it as we go. Nope, not that. So here is our blend my NFTs folder here. There we go. So yeah, let's open this example file up first. So as previously mentioned, just always keep the blend file that you have in blend my NFTs in that folder, so that the scripts work. So let's see what we have here. So this is our setup here. This is the example blend file here. We have a whole bunch of attributes. Now, an attribute of your NFT is something that can change. So if you have an NFT of a person wearing a hat, the hat, the idea of the hat would be an attribute. But for that hat, you can have a lot of different types of hats. So you can have like a green hat, a red hat, a blue hat, a hamster hat, something crazy. So you can have tons of different hats. So I will refer to those as variants because they're variants of the hat attribute itself, and they can be swapped in and out of that hat attribute to make different types of NFTs. So in this example, I just have we have our attribute cube here, and then we have our variants like cube 1, cube 2, cube 3, cube 4. These ones are empty just for this example, just to keep the file small. Yeah, so this name here, this naming structure is pretty important for now. It will change eventually, and I'll make announcements about that. But this cube right here, that's the name of the attribute. So that's like, that's what will show up on OpenSea or whatever marketplace you're using. And that's what will be exported in future whenever metadata is done. So this is the name. It can't, you can't have numbers or underscores in the name. That's pretty important. As well as in the attribute name. You can't have numbers or underscores in the attribute names. That's just, the program detects the difference between an attribute and a variant if there are numbers or underscores in the name. So just keep that in mind when you're naming. Anything else goes, just no numbers or underscores. So this first number here, I'll just explain what it is. So it's a number that it's an incremental number. That's the word I'm looking for. So it increases for each variant you have in your attribute collection here. So this is our first variant here. This is cube 1, cube 2, cube 3, cube 4, and so on and so forth for all the attributes. This last one over here is the rarity. So this is a percentage out of 100. So this attribute here has 100%. Just think of it as like a pie with 100%, and then each variant in this pie needs to split that attribute pie into equal slices. So you can have it really wacky. So you can have like 5% for cube 1, and then like I'm not sure how the math would work, but like 25% for cube 2, and then so on and so on. You can have some different numbers here. So for this example, I just put 1 and then 33, 33, 33. So these ones add up to 99%, and then this adds up to 1%. So this cube down here will appear 1% of the time, and then these other cubes here will have a equal chance of being selected, so 33% for each of those. So that's how that works for rarity. We'll come back to that when we enable it. So that's that. I think I talked about the variants and the attributes too long there, but that's okay. So this is another collection up here. This one's pretty important. I typically just keep it at the top of the blend file when I'm testing, but feel free to move it around. It doesn't matter. The name, however, does matter. It must be capital S script underscore capital I ignore. And in this folder, in this collection, you can put any object, any collection, any cameras, lightings, anything that you want to stay constant throughout every single NFT. And the camera for that object, the render camera and the viewport camera, will not be changed no matter how many times you run the script. So the camera and the render camera and the viewport camera for each attribute, each variant, will be changed. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, all right. So when you open the blend file up, you'll probably be greeted with this scripting tab right here, which will be open. So let's go ahead and let's clear all of the files that we have open here. So just click that, and that. So we don't need those right now. Those are older files. I'm going to be working on a redone Blender example file, but this one does the trick for now. So right now, let's click this open button here, and this opens the Blender file view. So let's go to desktop. Let's open Blend My NFTs. Let's go to source. So we're going to be opening one file, and that's main. So we go to source and then main, and this is the main the main file. Yeah, so I'm gonna head over to my text editor here. After we've done that, let's go over here and let's just double check to make sure we have everything set up here. So we have the save path, we have the name, the format, render batch, and the NFTs per batch, Max Nfts, and that is it for now. I'll explain a little more about the other ones in a sec. So let's open up the terminal, or the console for Blender. So we can just go here to Window and then toggle System, and that'll open up the Blender terminal. So let's minimize that for now. That'll be important in a second. And then we just ran the script. So I just went up here and click this run button. How do you have to use integer numbers for Rarity? For integers, I believe it works. I won't guarantee it. I think it works as like 0.5%. Don't quote me on that. I haven't tested it myself, but I've ran a test, but it was a while ago, so it might work. I'll leave it at that. It might work. So yeah, you would do it 0.5%. Yeah, that's right. All right, awesome. Yeah, sorry. There's like there's a lot of stuff I have to test, and I'm like trying to make a lot of features right now for the project I'm working on. So it's like a huge mountain to tackle right now. So I'll slowly start making everything work with itself. So yeah, yeah. All right. So after we've double checked config and we ran main.py. Okay, so let's go here and see what's up. So we're back at the Blend My NFTs folder, and let's just click. So we have this NFT record folder right here. Now this is a JSON file. If you're unfamiliar with Python and programming, a JSON file is basically is commonly used just to store data. So if you're running a script and you're generating some data and you want to send that data to another script to run and read, a JSON file would help you with that, and it would store the data temporarily. So let's open NFT record here, this file that was generated, and let's take a look. So right at the top here, this is, I believe it's called an array. In Python, it's a dictionary, but in JSON, it's an array. So in this array, we have this key right here called number of NFTs generated, and it's exactly what it says. That's the number of NFTs that were generated, and if you notice, it's the same number of max NFTs here. And I'm always very happy when I see that number because it means the script worked. So yeah. Next we have the hierarchy, and that is exactly the Blender hierarchy here. So if you notice, we have I guess the first one would be area light. So we have area light here, and then we have area light 1 with the rarity of 0. So if you don't want to include rarity in your if you're in your NFTs, just set it to false and then change all the rarity numbers to 0. If you have rarity on and all your numbers are 0, it will just randomly select an attribute from that list. So it's a quick side tangent there. So let's take a look. So we got the name right here, area light 1 and 0. And let's see what we have up here. So up here we have area light 1. That's the full name. Sorry, that's the key to the data of area light. We also have this name here, which is area light, and then we have the number right there. We have the rarity, which is 0, and then we have this thing called color. I'll get back to that in a bit. It's that's a side tangent, another side tangent. But basically, you can change the color of an object without making new objects for that thing. So I'll explain what that is later. But if we scroll down through this whole list of attributes and variants, we can come down here and see this thing called DNA list. So this is another key, and in this DNA list is a list, and these are the DNAs for all of our NFTs. So these ones should be randomly selected from that big list of like 20 million or whatever it is. It's actually, for this example, I think it's 250 something. But out of that 250 something list of possible NFT combinations, we limited it to 20. So randomly selected 20 of those NFTs and put it in this list here. So each NFT is identified by this DNA string. So we have a 1 here, a 4, 2, 1, 7, 2. So this is alphabetical. So each of these number slots is a attribute, and each of the numbers in that number slot corresponds to an attribute variant. So if we go, okay, so this first one here, it's alphabetical, so it's number 1 in the list, and then the number is also 1, so we would select area light number 1 here. And then number 2 is 4, and I think that's Q, if I know my alphabet right. And then it would be cube 4. So the way the program works is it turns on the render camera for each of these things, and then turns off the render camera for everything that wasn't selected in the scene. So, and then it presses render. And that's how the images are generated, and we'll get to that in a sec. So that's the NFT record. This is like your ledger for all the NFTs that you want to make. Let's close this, and let's go here. We're back at the Blend My NFTs folder. Let's open batch JSON files. So in this batch JSON files folder, we have 2 JSON files, which is pretty cool. Let's open up 1. All right, so here we have 10. There are only 10 DNA in this file because this is the number that we set it to split up those the max NFTs for. And in this file, we have the same hierarchy. We have all the same keys for the array in this folder. We have a different name for the number of NFTs, but that's okay. And then we have the batch DNA list here. So this is limited to 10, and it's a similar thing here. I think there's a bug with this. I have to double check some code, but this there might be some duplicate DNAs in this. I could probably fix it on stream in a sec, actually. But yeah, that's our batch, and that's our JSON file. So let's go close that. And now, this is the fun part. Now we're gonna go, oh, we actually need that open. Now we're gonna go to config here. And then in config, we're gonna go down to this render image variable here, and then turn that to true. Now Python, this is called a Boolean value. A Boolean value is basically like an on and off switch. So on is true, and then off is false. It's very useful in programming for a number of reasons. I won't get too much into that right now, but true is on. So if you want to turn a feature on, you set it to true, and then if you want to turn one off, you set it to false. So right there, I turned render image on. So when we run the program, instead of generating a new NFT record in a batch, it will render all the images for those NFTs in that NFT ledger, the NFT record, and batch 1. So up here we've selected batch 1. So all of these DNAs, these NFT DNAs, will be generated in Blender. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've turned config to true. Let's render this. This is pretty quick actually. Before it was some reason really slow, but now it's a lot faster. So I'm just here in Blend My NFTs again. Let's go to NFT image output. You'll notice batch 1 was generated, which is a good sign. Let's go here, and look at that. They all generated magically. So let's open up the first one here and see what we have. So it'll number all of the images accordingly. So when you're naming this variable here, image name, just be aware that a number will be added to the image name. So if you want to like separate the number from the name itself with like an underscore or some character, feel free to do that. But yeah, so that's the image generator. We have all these different images here, different variations of cubes and spheres and lights and text. So it's just an example, but I'm sure a lot more creative people out there can make a lot better things than this. But yeah, so that's the image generator. Does anyone have any questions at all? I'm going to be moving on to the 3D model generator in a bit. But yeah, feel free to type your questions in the live stream chat. Just gonna grab some water. Oh yeah, I'm still recording, I think. Let me check. Yep, 26 minutes. Okay, that's good. And I have it saved to my D drive now, which is mostly empty. Terabyte of empty space, so that's good. Last time I saved it to my C drive, and I think I have like 10 megabytes or something free on that. Something ridiculously low. Of course, in the 90s, that would have been a different story, but anyway. All right. Yeah, I'll just wait. I'll see if anyone has any questions, and then yeah, let's move on. We'll move on to the 3D model generator after this. Yeah, thank you. All good. Yeah, so that's metadata. So the plan with NFT metadata is to generate a separate folder. Oh, that's the wrong file. So in this NFT image output, we have batch 1 here. So then in this batch 1, I'm going to change this with the script in I don't know, this weekend sometime. I'm probably going to add metadata. So all these images would be in like a folder called like images, and then there would be another folder called metadata, and in that folder would be a corresponding JSON file for this specific image here. So like this this cozyplace1.jpg would have this cozyplace1.json, and then that would have all the information about it. So that would have the name, that would have the number, the DNA, the parent attributes, and all that fancy stuff. So you can upload it to OpenSea, and I think I might find a way so that you can customize how it's formatted. I'm not sure how it's all going to work yet, because I know I believe, I'm not sure how it all works, but I believe different blockchains have different ways of formatting NFT metadata. And I think even different marketplaces have different ways of doing that as well. I have to look into that, but I'll figure that out this weekend sometime. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to grind it out this weekend, so yeah, awesome. All right, any more questions? Feel free to drop them in the live stream chat. Right now, let's get started with the 3D model generator. Okay, so I just want to see, I'm still live, okay? And recording is still going. Yes, so this live stream will be posted on YouTube. I'm probably going to do it sometime tonight, actually. Yeah, all good. So let's move on here. I hope this works. There was some difficulty with it working a few days ago, or yesterday sometime. Someone was having difficulty with it, and I was talking with him in the DMs about it. So I believe I got it working, but I could be wrong. Maybe it'll fail on stream, and I'll this will be a epic fail compilation. Okay, so for 3D models, it's structured a little different right now. Yeah. So we'll see. Moment of truth. Maybe I fixed it, maybe I didn't. So we'll see. So for 3D models, we have. If it's not fixed right now, I'll fix it tonight sometime maybe. Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. It's 5:30 where I am right now, so lots of time. All right, so in this this is just an example folder right here. I just have it named 3D model input. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the name is right now. So similar setup to the collections for the image generation process. You're gonna have an attribute folder, and in this folder let's open this up and see what we have here. So ignore this .ds store folder. It's just, I think it's like something to do with GitHub. I looked it up a long time ago. I have no idea what it does now. But we have all of our variants as single objects. So in this cube attribute folder, we have this cube black, this cube blue, cube red, cube white. I'm not sure why it's not showing the file format for everything but the X3D, but this should be like a .jlb. Yeah, this is a .fbx file here, and this is a where did it show it? Where did it show it? I just saw it. Type of file folder. Okay, that's strange. Windows doesn't like it. Okay, that's weird. But these are it shows it on my MacBook. Let me just see what these are. These are in descending order. This is an X3D file. This is a .fbx file. The cube blue is .fbx. The cube red is .jlb, and the cube white is .obj. So I don't know what's wrong with Windows. Maybe it doesn't recognize those file formats. Oh, it does. OBJ. Okay. FBX and JBL are kind of weird. Oh, maybe that was why. Okay. Yes, that was it. Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, look at that. All right. So anyway, we have those files here, and these are all your variants, and just different colored cubes I have set up here. And then we have the same thing for the sphere attribute here. We just have all these different types of spheres. Yeah. Now this next folder is pretty important. You're going to want to write this down. So you want to set up this is the script ignore folder, the script ignore collection in your Blender thing. So just like I was talking about before, everything you want to stay constant in your scene, like a background or a camera or a light, you put in this folder. Now, the way it works is it imports everything in this folder exactly where it is. So however you have your objects set up in that folder, it'll just import them all. And let's see what we have in here. So we have this background. So this is just a plane I have set up, and we'll see this when I run it, and it hopefully works. So yeah, let's give it a shot. So let's open up this Blend My NFTs folder here. I'm just going to delete the NFT record because we're not going to be using that for the batches. Let's delete that. And ignore, if you see any git ignore files here, that's just for GitHub, just ignore it. So it'll, yeah, it doesn't do anything. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to this 3D model input folder. Let's open that up. We have a git ignore file there. So all you have to do is literally just drag these folders here into this folder, and then there you go. That's it. Done. All right, now let's go to the IDE and check out config. So a lot of the stuff we don't have to change. Let's set render image to false, just for good measure. Let's keep this 20 right here. Let's come back to that. Enable 3D models. So this is what we want to set to true. Set that to true. And so we're turning on the 3D model generator. So when we run main.py, this will be set to true. When we turn this to true, this will turn on the 3D model generator. I got that backwards. Okay. This next variable here is the export format. So Blender supports, or supposed to support, FBX, JLB, and OBJ and X3D as exportable 3D object file formats. So for the first demonstration, I'll just do JLB, and then for the next one, I'll do FBX just to check that live on stream. So enable generation. Let's just we don't need that on right now. That just does colors. Oh yeah, false. I have it set to before. Oh, it was true. Okay. I'm a very slow typer on clackety keyboards. I'm better on a Mac. Okay, so we've changed that. The image name is going to be the same. It's going to output the image name as the object name, so that's all good. I'm just double checking to make sure nothing breaks. Okay, so let's open up. Let's open up this blend file. We're going to close this blend file, actually. We don't need it. Let's just open Blender up again. This time we're going to create our own new blend file. So let's do this. So right now we have a blank .blend file. And it's not currently, it's not blank. So we have this light and this cube, this camera, and this collection. So let's just go ahead and let's delete that. Okay, so now we have a proper blank NFT, blank .blend file. So let's go ahead and save this, save as, and let's save this to Blend My NFTs main. And let's just double check that did that properly. So we have it there. Let's rename this to test. All right, there we go. And I'm just going to close this just to make sure that it opens it from that directory. Okay, we have this blank blend file open. The directory has been set to Blend My NFTs main. And let's go to scripting. So same as before, let's go to source. Let's click open, and let's go to source, and then navigate to main, and then main, or source main, yeah, and then main, .py. So let's run it. Let's see what happens. I hope this works. Please don't crash. All right. Computer's whirring. I wonder what happened. Uh-oh. All right, so that should be how you do it. It doesn't always work, but that's okay. That's how you do it when it works. So let's close this, see what it's doing. I'll open the console this time and see what happens. Okay. You know what? Let me double check something. This will be 2 seconds. Sorry, just some live troubleshooting here. really interesting. I had it working on my MacBook. Maybe that's why. It's different on Windows somehow. So that's how you're supposed to run it. Does anyone have any questions? I need to look into why it doesn't work on Windows right now. Yeah, it works. Oh, you did? Okay, I'm wondering why it doesn't work on my ends. Maybe I messed something up. Oh yeah, let me see. Let me look. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's try FBX. Maybe that's why. Okay. Oh, maybe I just have to give it time. Maybe I'm impatient. Let's try this. Okay, so I think I've set everything back to normal. I hope. Okay. Let's do this. I tested the image generator before streaming, so I know that works. That's like solid. That's rock solid. I shouldn't say that. It's not. It's not solid. Lots of stuff can still go wrong. All right, let's do this. Give some time. I'll be patient this time. All right. And Batman, I'm just curious. Are you running Windows? I think you're running Windows. From last time we spoke, I could be wrong though. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think I'm on Windows 10 as well. I wanted to upgrade to Windows 11. I think Windows 11 is out right now, but I don't have enough drive space on my C drive to upgrade it, so I have to like transfer all these files over to D drive. It's a pain. Okay. Yeah, I wanna make sure that nothing crashes when I upgrade, so I don't lose everything. Alright, still nothing. Let me try and refresh this. Maybe it, I wonder what it's doing. Task. Manager. Let's see. It's doing something. Very high. It's not responsive. Usually, it's not responsive when rendering images. I'm not sure why it rendered those images so quickly. Last time I did that, it was like super slow. Yeah, I'm not sure why it was so fast this time. Maybe it lowered the resolution. Let me see. Oh, okay. Max Nfts 20. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so that changed. I need to add more warnings and error messages so that debugging is a little easier, but that's awesome that you got it working on your end. I wish I had it working on my end for some reason. I'm wondering why it's not working now. But it does work. It works though, so I'm not lying to everyone on stream. Yeah. There's just so much, like, if anyone wants to see the error messages I've been working, I've slowly put a couple, but it's not enough at all. It's like DNA generator is by far the biggest script, and I think I have, let me Control F this error. I have 10, maybe 9 error messages. So that, oh no, maybe 5, more like 5. Yes, these are all error messages I put in, and they're all really niche edge cases, hopefully. So hopefully those don't do anything. Those warn people, and it exits the program here. But yeah, it's a pain. So that's really weird why it doesn't do that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I looked into GitHub Copilot, and I signed up for it, but I don't have access. They haven't given me access to it yet. So whenever that comes out, that would be awesome. I do have access to OpenAI though, or the GPT-3. GPT-J. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I haven't heard of that one. Let me double check config. Just gonna go over to 20. 10, set this to 5, maybe that's the reason. Number of NFTs. Oh no, that wouldn't do anything. 20, let's set this to 5, maybe that's why. I'm very curious why it's not doing anything. Okay, I didn't know that. Alright, I'll have to look into that. That's awesome. Yeah, sure. Let's look at that. It's embarrassing. It's the code I wrote. I don't know how it works. So that's all troubleshooting is, though. Sure. Yeah, send it. I'll take a look. Enable generation. True. Yeah. Try to. This might be it. I hope. Yeah, you always try to get it right the first time, and then obviously it's never gonna work. It's a false. I wanted to get to this preview thing after, but I want to figure out why it's not doing this first. Sure. Yeah, let me take a look at that config file there. Because I haven't changed anything else besides false, JLB, true. So try JLB. Zero zero. Maybe that's why. Let's try that. Never know. Okay. All right. Let's try this. I think I've configured it correctly. Maybe I have to save it. No, that wouldn't be right. Let's save it. I don't know. Okay. Let's go here. Let's open this. Fingers crossed. And you were running it through main, right? Let's try that. Okay. Oh, it did something. There we go. Thank you, Batman. I don't know what it was. I guess that worked. Rarity yet? Not yet. I'll come back to that in a sec. Okay, that worked. Thank you so much, Batman. Maybe so. I changed the image name, the render batch, and NFTs per batch. Yeah. Yay, indeed. So I wonder, and Max Nfts. So maybe let me go here, and let's search for. I'm just gonna check something really quick, just to make sure. I just want to see if these variables are used. Oh, I Control V that. Control Z. Don't want that to mess anything up. Nothing. Oh, that's strange. Maybe you? Shouldn't be in there, no. True. Huh. Yeah, honestly, I have no idea what that could be. What caused that? That was really weird. Okay, it works. It works. That's all I care about. That's awesome. All right. So if, yeah, and then this is the output of the 3D models, and we have 5 here, and we specified 5 max NFTs right there. Thank you, Batman, again. And let's open properties up on one of these and just confirm this is a JLB file. And we specified JLB as the export here. Let's open one of these up in Blender and see what it looks like. So you notice in the collection here, this is just blank. So the blank.blend file is sort of like a shell. It's just to run the script. It doesn't really, just to run the script and then export the objects. So yeah, let me just grab a drink. 1 sec. Awesome. All right. Oh yeah, we were gonna import that thing. So Blender has a really weird way of importing it. It makes me really mad, and it's infuriating. You have to select the file extension name. I don't understand why. I could code an add-on that changes this. It's just, yeah, it's very frustrating. Like you should, like every other, like I think Photoshop and like all these other mainstream softwares just have it. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's some reason for it I'm not aware of. Maybe I'm a naive little kid. I don't know. Who knows? All right, let's go here and let's open up number 3. There we have it. So, what happened here? Yeah, true. That's probably it. That's probably it. Yeah. Yeah, just something that, like, I don't know, who knows, formatting messed up or it corrupted the files somehow, and they just couldn't find a way around it. All right, so we've opened up, I think it was number 5, and we've imported the object. So we have all these objects here now. So we have a red cube, a blue cube, and we have this plane right here. So this plane is the background. This is in that script ignore file. So if we close this, yes, and open up another one. Let's go there. Let's go number 1. These are all white, and we have the white plane as well. So the plane is always going to be there. It's always the same plane. It's in every single iteration of your NFT. So yeah, that's awesome. It works. My heart stopped when I heard it wasn't working. I'm very happy that's working now. Okay, so we've gone over the image generator and the 3D model generator. Does anyone have any questions about the 3D model generator? No problem, Batman. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm glad. Very thankful for that. I always like it when my code works. So yeah. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to type it in the live stream chat. Yeah. What about Rarity? Okay. So Rarity, let me go back. Rarity for 3D objects or for a blend file for generating images. 3D. So okay, so let me do 3D objects first. So 3D objects, we don't currently have any Rarity functionality in it yet. I could probably do it. I don't know when. I don't want to make any promises because I have a lot of stuff I want to implement first. But that's definitely something I want to implement. It would probably just be a matter of somehow calling a modified version of DNA generator and then passing it through Rarity Sorter. But right now, we currently don't have anything for 3D models for Rarity. We will though, so that's coming. For images, we have this Rarity Sorter script right here. Feel free to go through the code if you want. It's pretty simple. Let me see. Yeah, no problem. But feel free, if you're familiar with Python, feel free to make a branch and then add that if you feel comfortable with Python. But yeah, so that's it for thing. Let me talk really quick about Rarity. So I'm just looking over the script, trying to remember. Okay. So let me open this, this example, and let's talk about Rarity. So let's go here. Let's open this. My brother's the 3D artist on this project, and he hates it when I do stuff like this, where I just drag the window away from the view, the view thing. So if he's watching, he'll be very mad. So this is impractical, actually. So let's just go here. Okay. So we have our attributes and our variants here. The math behind this is quite, it's easy. It's just some division and stuff, but I'll probably make a separate script for like simple, just to keep track of all this stuff. I might actually do a full-on rarity chart generator for your thing. That's actually, I just came up with that now. That would actually be awesome. But that's like a month from now, maybe. I got a lot of things to do. So this number right here, this number on the end of the name of your variant, is the number that defines the rarity for that variant. So that is the way you want to structure that number. The way you want to determine that number is by thinking about this attribute here. So in an attribute, you have 100%. So it's just like a big pie. So think of it as pi. And then each of your variants here needs to split that pie in some way. So you can split it in many different ways. You can have one variant that has like 99.9% of the pie, and then the other 40 have like whatever 0.0001 or something percent of the pie. And so you just put that number there. So yeah, so it's a percentage. So it's a percentage in a so like 1 point whatever. You could go like 0.5 here, I think. I'm gonna try this in a second, see if it works. New collection. Oh, and by the way, you can change the names of the variants to whatever you want. They just have to be letters. So this could be like hamster hat _5. I do not condone the murdering of hamsters to make hats, by the way. This is just for the example. Please don't do that. Okay, so we have two types of cubes or hats, I guess, whatever you want to call them here. And this rarity is 0.5%, and this is another one at 0.5%. So these probably will not be generated. Actually, you know what? We can check. Let's check that. So let's go to script here. Let's close all this. Open. Let's go to you main. Okay. So if you want to render something with rarity, so that's how you set up the rarity in your .blend file. And if you want to include rarity in your batches and in your NFT record, this is how you do it. So you got to go down here. It's still an experimental feature, just keep that in mind. It doesn't work with everything yet. There's still some things I have to do with color and material that need to be worked out with that. And what else do I have here? And enable max, or no, I guess I got rid of that. That was an old feature. Yeah. Let me rename that. So just ignore this part here. That doesn't have to be on actually. That doesn't exist anymore. But it must be greater than 0. So max nfts must be. That's actually an error I should put in. Yeah. Anyway, so we want to change this to true, turning it on, and that's it. Just double check to make sure that's off. So this has to be off in order to run Rarity. This also has to be off. It doesn't work with images. It doesn't work with 3D models right now. So let's do false. And then we'll do that later. I don't want to render these yet. So let's see how this will work. No, I don't want you. Okay, so we have 0.5%, so that's really rare. We're probably not even going to get that with the 256 possible combinations that we have right now. So let's create a couple more collections here. So let's go new collection, and then let's name this, I don't know, microphone. I'm drawing, not thinking. Microphone 1. Microphone 1. 0 doesn't matter. So let's just add one more. And this will double the number of things, possible combinations. So we've done that, and this is just to possibly get that 0.5% cube in our NFT record. So let me just run the math here and see how many we have. I just want to know to limit it. So let's say, so we have 1, 2, 3, we have 5 cubes, 5 times 4 spheres times 2. I think we have 2 of everything here. 2 times 2 times 2. So we have 300 so far. And then let's multiply that by 2 again. Yes, 2. So we have 600. Let me copy this. I just want to get over 1,000 so that we have better odds. Copy you. Paste you. Where did I paste you to? Uh-oh. What did I do there? Uh-oh. Let me go back here. Maybe I pasted it in here. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's run this. See what it does. Uh-oh. No. What happened? Maybe something's not formatted right. Yeah, I control Z that. That's wacky. I don't know what it did. I was trying to copy and paste a collection, but I guess it didn't work. Oh no, I want you back here. So let's look at this. So this console here is very good for debugging. So right here, I'm just working through. So this is the main pie thing. Right now I'm trying to get the rarity thing to work. Yeah, so to get the script console, you go to Window, click that, and then click Toggle System Console, and that'll bring up the console for Blender for all its operations. Yeah, it's pretty neat. 29 DNA. That shouldn't be running. Oh no, it should be. Yeah. Divide by 0. Oh, I forgot. That's why. Forgot to change these back. That's why you see, numbers important. Numbers are important. 1, not 2. Yeah, no problem. Maximum NFTs, let's set this to, I think, I forget what it was. Let's set it to 500. I don't remember the exact number, but let's set it to 500. So let's do that. For this example, what will that do? Yes, I'm going to turn off the batch sorter. So we're only going to be looking at the NFT record. So the batches will not be generated, and I'm just modifying this. So if you were to actually do this practically, do not try this at home. Basically, is what I'm saying. So I'm turning this off. Actually, forget it. Never mind. It doesn't matter. All right, let's go here. This doesn't work. I don't know what to say. Yeah, let's render that. I forgot to. Wait a second. What did I change then? It's thinking. I don't know why it's thinking. Should be working. That is false. Set to true. Division by 0 should be good. We don't have a record, so let me close this and try again. Oh yeah, sorry. We're running the rarity. We're running the image generation script with rarity enabled. So it's still an experimental feature. That's why I'm trying to remember how it works. Main. Let's try that. No problem. All good. Maybe it's just a really big batch and it's not doing it because there's a lot of stuff. Oh, no, it ran successfully. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it wasn't working. So in this one, we got 500. Now that's a lot. That's a big number. We got all these batches here. I don't know how many this can handle. I think on what's the size character limit for character JSON? It's like really big for a JSON file. So you can get pretty high. I don't think I've coded a limit to it. No, I haven't. I haven't coded a limit to the NFT record. I probably should. So when it reaches that limit, it makes another one. But no one's complained about it yet, so I'm not going to bother doing it. Anyway, so we have same as usual. We have all these other what's it called, variants within the hierarchy in these attributes here. Let me just look this over. Okay, it's funny. It's microphone isn't showing up for some reason. I wonder why. Maybe I'm just not seeing it. Anyway, I'll come back to that. So when we wrote this in thing, we had cube. Now cube has a rarity, has 4 variants, and 3 of those variants have 33% as a weight. So we also have another one with a weight of 1. so 33 times 3 is 99, and then that last 1% is this one cube. So we should get this cube 1% of the time. And I think the reason why that microphone isn't there because I misplaced it. And no, I didn't misplace it. I reloaded the .blend file without saving it. So always save your blend file, kids. That's the lesson here. So this cube, we can still do it with this example. So this cube will show up about 1% of the time. So let's try this. Control F. Let's search up. Oh, I wanted to do 0. No. How would that work? I don't know how to search it up. I guess I can't do that here. That's a bummer. Okay, I have to make a script that can show you the percentage of selected. Oh, hold on. Some files don't have all the parts. The generators. Yeah, it should be able to do all the parts, I think. If I think I understand what you're asking about. Yeah, like that. Yeah, it should be able to do that. I was just having a look at the generators. It should, because it should import it should import a random variant for each attribute. The same run. Yeah, so if you're trying to set it up so that each head is different, so that every time you run it, you get a different head, a different left arm, right arm, a different body and legs, then you want to set it up so that the folder you have like, let me show it with this example. So you have, let's rename this to body. Yeah, so each folder, so body, let's say in here you would have every body for all the different types of bodies that you have. And then for each head, you would have in this folder every type of head you want to have. So it's segmented. So if you're creating like one character at a time, you would have to split up those objects into separate folders. So yeah, that's how it works. No, so yeah, that's right. So each part of the image that you're changing, so if it's a body part, like your torso or left arm or right arm, you'd have like a folder for each of those, and then every single type of that, every object for those arms or that torso, you would put it in the torso folder, in the body folder. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that right? It's a what's it called? Confusing explanation, but I haven't really found a better way to do it. It's kind of I get confused with it all the time. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. All right. Yeah, I really should add more. I'll do it this weekend sometime. I'll add better explanation for how everything works. So just to make it easier to understand. Right. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Cool. So, one sec. Oh, no, all good. All good. Awesome. Yeah, so that was a little side question there. So I'm glad it's working now. All right, awesome. So what we did there is we just turned rarity on in the config file and then set the rarity percentage here in the Blender file here. So out of 100%. And one of them had 1%. So I cannot really prove that it works. You'll just have to trust me. I guess I can look for 1. No, I would look for wrong thing. 4 is what I would look for. Okay, 4. 4. It's going to come up with a lot of 4. So the row that we're looking for is this second row here. So if you can spot a 4 there that's highlighted, that will tell us. Right now we just see 1s, 2s, and 3s, which is a good sign because it's not randomly picking them. So we're only going to get 4 1% of the time. So I'm hoping we have a 4 this round. We might not. And there we go. We got 2 actually. So it's not perfect. It's randomly selecting those out of like a percentage. So we have 2 4s in this round and we only have 500. So there are outliers obviously, but so let's say, so I'm just answering some questions here. So let's say we want to give our character glasses, but only sometimes. So the glasses are a rare thing, 3%, okay? Should we do a collection with the glasses with 3% and then an empty collection with 97%? That would work, actually. Let me think about that. That would work. Yes, you're very right. Yeah, that should work because the collection would just be blank, and that's actually really clever. Holy crap, I never thought about that. I was like thinking about a way I could remove the object from the scene in your example 97% of the time, but because we have a very similar thing. We want to just add an object in like a very small percentage of the time for our NFT collection. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Actually, that's really useful. I need to write that down. But yeah, that's how that would work. Yeah, great thinking there. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. All right. So let's get back to this here. So we have cube number 4 1% of the time with the setup we have right here. So we've only come across 2 so far, so that's a good sign. I'm hoping we don't come across any more. So there we go. We have just 2 4s out of 500. So let's figure out what that was. Sorry, that was my cup there. Okay. Right, okay. Yeah, I have to add, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is preview. So we're going to be running a preview script to check our numbers, and I need to add to it the ability to confirm the percentage accuracy of your rarity for each variant. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I should be easy to add. It's just some math. But yeah, 4 out of 500, that's pretty close to 1%. It's not exactly 1%, but whatever. It's all randomly selected they're randomly selected, but they're weighted. I can show you how it works. Rarity Sorter. Let me find the line. There's a line here. There's a very random choices. This is it. Yeah, should be easy. It's just math, guys. It's just math. Very famous last words indeed. So this is, if you want to like the word, audit my code or something to make sure all the math and stuff checks out, this is the line to look for. Obviously, look over the code yourself, however you want, but I'm just suggesting these lines here, lines 60 and 62. This is how it selects the rarity. So this is a list of I. I'm reading this just to make sure. I in hierarchy, list of I, rarity. So number list of I. These are the list of numbers for the variants that have been selected for one NFT, and it randomly selects one of them for each attribute. And then here in choices, this is where it selects the weight of those. I have it wrong. Ignore everything I just said. So this list of numbers, number list of I, is a list of the numbers of each variant in an attribute collection. So that's a lot. So if you want to, whatever, when this YouTube video goes up, replay that a bunch of times, because that's the key to understanding this. So it randomly selects, hold on, if zero bool. I don't remember how a lot of this works, but I think it randomly selects an attribute and then pulls every variant number of that attribute into this other random choice thing. Maybe. It's been a long time since I looked at this code. And then weights, and then it sets the weights. So this module here, this is a Python module, and it's imported up here in random. It's not cryptographically random. So what that means is this isn't a secure form of randomness. This is just like random number generation. So if you want to generate random passwords, you would use like, I forget what the module is. It's like cryptographic random something. But this is just like pseudo random numbers, which is good enough for what we're doing, because we're not generating like super secure security systems or anything like that. So I'm just using random dot choices. So this selects the weights for a list of items. So this is the list of those items. So it's the variance in an attribute is our list, and then each of those has a weight, and then we assign, so weights equals rarity. I can probably get rid of that. Yeah, anyway, I'm thinking about ways of changing my code while I'm explaining it, which I don't have to do that now. So and this is the list of rarities, so the list of weights. So it gets a list of all of these percentages here, and then applies them to this list of variants here. So it applies it to cube 1 gets 33%, it gets a 33% weight, and cube 2 gets 33% weight. Same with cube 2, yeah, and same with cube 3, and then cube 1 only gets a 1% weight, which is why we've only seen it twice in that NFT record. And so the reason why in that NFT record we saw 2 instead of 1 is because, again, we're using pseudo-random stuff, and we're using it twice. Once for this to select the variant, and then another one to select 500 NFTs from our pool of like 600. So with that Max Nfts thing. So yeah, that's how the rarity is calculated. If you want to audit that, feel free to do that. This is the rarity sorter in image generator, and this K value here, this just limits the selected output to 1. So we only want to select one variant per attribute, and then that number just tells us which one to select. So I'm getting too deep into code here. This is just supposed to be a tutorial video, but yeah. So this is rarity. Let's move on to, I think I said I wanted to run the preview. So let's run the preview. So now preview will give you some information about your config file. will give you some information about the possible combinations of your Blender file. So this currently only works with image generation. Again, I'm going from image generation to 3D model stuff, so I'm developing all the features for the image generator first, and then slowly moving it over to the 3D model generator. Once I've fully got it properly working with the image stuff, and then I'll move it over. So that's my workflow right now. It's just whatever. That's how I started in the beginning. So that's just I'm too lazy to change it. Anyway, so to run the preview, we go to run preview, and then we just turn this to true. Excuse me. So we don't have to change anything else in our config file. Well, that's a lie. We do have to change these things here, but everything else above those lines does not need to be changed at all. It can stay the same. So I have caps lock on for some reason. So we have the preview set to true. We've turned it on. This Max NFT for test. So let me explain what this does. So when we run preview, when we run main.py with preview turned on, it will generate images. It will render images based on your .blend file in the same manner as if you were to run it as I showed you previously how to run the image generator. So this Max NFTs test limits, it is the number of images to generate in that test. Now, the reason we're generating images and testing them is because we want to show you, because at least I find this useful, is because it'll show you the time it takes to render those images, and then the time it takes to render your entire collection of images, so everything that you want to render. So let's say, so if you want to render 500 images, and you can set this up here in Max NFTs. Yeah, it'll be great. We'll see. I'll hopefully get that out soon. I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now, so I'll look into that. Okay, so Max NFTs test. So let's go. Let's do 10, because five generated pretty quickly. Yeah, thank you. So we're doing 10, and then image name. Let's just set this to image test run. All right, this should work. I say that every time. This should work. So let's turn. We have window. Let's turn window open. Console. Oh, and then when you've run, this is going back to the Rarity stuff. When you've run Rarity in, when you've run main.py with Rarity on, it'll tell you here in the console that you're using Rarity, just to let you know. Yeah, so we have the console open here. Oh, too big. And let's click run, and it didn't work. What happened? Oh, that's a weird one. Found. Oh, maybe the JPEG format isn't correct. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I forgot to put this to JPEG. There we go. That was blank. So now if we run it, it should work. And there we go. It freezes. So Blender will freeze usually when it's running a long render. It should print some stuff in here. There we go. Unless it failed again. Yeah, JPEG can be changed to PNG. So just in this string right here, you can just put like PNG. I'm not going to change it right now because the program's running. But you would just type it like this. I'll do it in this comment here. Oh my god. Clackety keyboards. So you just do PNG. And you can find a list of all the formats you want to export in this link right here, and just select the red text on that page, and it'll and put it in this string right here. Yeah, I think it's right, unless it gave me another error. So we can work with this anyway. So yeah, I think that broke, or maybe it's rendering. I don't know. We'll figure it out in a sec. So when you run, I'm trying to remember the name. When you run the preview, you'll see this in your console. It's just a disclaimer, you're running the preview. And then we have the config settings here. So it tells us we have 10 NFTs per batch. This is the name of the images we want to generate. This is the operating system, image file, format. That's weird. Oh yeah, that wasn't showing up because I didn't turn that on yet. It'll tell you your save file. So this is just to just for you to double check to make sure all your numbers are lined up and all the program sees the proper output of that. So it's just confirming with you that you have the right stuff set up. And then for settings here, it just prints the settings of reset viewport, 3D models, and the generate colors, and then displays the color list, the rarity if it's set to true or false. That's why it's not working. I have rarity on. It does not work with rarity yet. That's why it froze. Okay, so I'll get back to that when I'm done explaining this. So when you run preview, it runs a shell of all the major scripts. So it will run DNA generator, it will run the batch sorter, and the image generator finally. And as you can see here, it started to render something, but then it got confused and didn't. For some reason, I have to figure out what's going on with the rarity stuff right now. Not right now. I'll make rarity work with preview later. Yeah, I think I even wrote it down. I don't know why I didn't read that. Set to true. Or made up by Blender. Initiate. Enable 3D models must be turned off to run it. Maybe not. That's false. Let's just set this to false and see what happens. Never know. Oh, that's the wrong one. I'm gonna delete the NFT record here. Oh, and by the way, this will write over any NFT records you have or batches. So just make sure that you have them saved elsewhere in your system. If you're gonna run preview. So yeah. Thing here. Open that. Close that. Close that. Close that. Open main. Config. Run preview. On Blend My NFTs, the software, yes, I'm working alone. We've got 2 people who've committed some code to the repository. I think, I'm not gonna remember the names. It's been a busy day. But all of this here, I cannot take credit for any of this. This stuff here, this was done by, I just want to give credit. No. Just finding who did it. Defect 2 here. He did the material generation. So all of this. Yeah, all of that. Some more code in the DNA generator, and one more person. Wrong thing. person. Can't remember. Andrew Gabler committed the color generation stuff here. So very kind of them. I appreciate the code. It's very awesome. I haven't gotten a chance to fully implement all that stuff with some of the other features yet, but yeah. So they committed to the GitHub repository for that stuff. But yeah, other than that, it's all this stuff has just been me so far. But yeah. Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Trying to run this Cinema 4D, uses Python API as well, yep. Do you think there's anything proprietary to Blender that is being executed here? So all code assets and all that side. So for Cinema 4D, I do not know how their API works. I would think it's very similar to how Blender works, function-wise. In the scripts, if you're going to make your own version of Blend My NFTs and you want to make it work with Cinema 3D, if you want to do that, and it works similarly, if the functions are very similar, so like Cinema 4D has like collections and I'm losing my words, ways of exporting stuff, you would go here to anything where it says like BPY and just change that to the Cinema 4D equivalent. That should work. There might be some quirks that you might have to find a way around, like with Python, but other than that, it should be. I don't want to make any promises because I've never used Cinema 4D, but other than that, it should be pretty straightforward to get that stuff done. There might be some challenges. I'm not sure with what. There might be some unforeseen challenges, but I would expect it. If they do have a Python API, then it should be somewhat similar to what I have set up here for Blender. Yeah. Again, I have no idea exactly how it will work, but I've looked into some skimming of how their API works, but yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah, and that's good. Yeah, so that's all you probably have to change there, so awesome. Trying to think what else. Oh, let's try to run this one more time. The preview. It works on my MacBook, but the second I try on Windows, I don't know why. Let's try. I just want to see if it's doing something here. Okay, so it stopped. Ran successfully. Okay. Oh wait, it worked. Okay. So it worked. Second time is a charm always. So what we just did is we ran preview.py, which is a script I have set up that sort of prints a bunch of stuff in the Blender console and helps you like understand how your blend file is set up and how Blend My NFTs will use that and generate images. So in the console, we have this thing here. I think I've already talked about this, just all this stuff here. Settings, blah, blah, blah. It runs a shell of the major scripts to run the image generator. Sorry, I'm reading what's on screen here. It'll tell you the number of things to generate here. And notice that this number is the same as this number, as the Max Nfts test instead of the Max Nfts variable there. That's because in the script I have it set up to change that number just for this test. So if you're not running the test, then it'll go to that 500 instead of the 10. So then we just run the batch sorter shell, same thing, just changes. Then we run the image generator shell. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. So it's the same, it works the same as running the script normally. It renders the images here. It tells you how long each image generated for. Hold on, I'm just going to read a question here. Is it possible to get two exact same NFTs through randomization, or does the script prevent it from happening? It does prevent it from happening, to my knowledge. Someone, I'm going to forget the name. Hold on. Someone messaged me and told me that the batch sorter might have an issue with that. So I'm going to double check the code to make sure it absolutely does that. But yes, to the best of my knowledge, it should be every single number in NFT record is unique, and it will not generate duplicates. So yeah, no problem. I'm gonna maybe this weekend if I have time. I'll make a script that double checks and make sure double checks and makes sure that each NFT is unique. So yeah. So back to this, we have whatever each NFT that's generated here. We're just generating like 10 for this example. Let's scroll down to the bottom. So it says completed all images in test render. Oh wait, no. Yeah, it says all NFT PNGs should be JPEGs. Okay, I gotta fix that. They should be generated as JPEGs, but I gotta fix how that string works. Completed all renders in batch 1 JSON in 2 whatever seconds. And then so it spits out this time here, and it says how many it would take to render 500 images, and that's in seconds, so it'll always be in seconds. For this, so you can just divide it by 60 to get minutes, and divide it by 60 to get hours if you're doing really long renders. But yeah, so this is the time it would take on average. It's not the exact time, it's just an estimate of how long it would take to render your full batch of images. So you probably do this now, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. Does anyone have any questions about the preview.py file? Personally, I've found it kind of useful just to see how many seconds, hours, sometimes days it takes to render stuff. But yeah. Any questions? All right, all good. So I think I want to say that's it for the main stuff. Let me just double check to make sure I have everything. Render image. I think that's it. Oh, I guess there's the color stuff here as well. So let me set that up really quick. Let's go false. Yeah, so with preview, this is just a question here in chat. Is there a built-in way to know the possible number of combinations / outputs? Yes. So in this example here, these numbers are out of whack. This is based on a previous test. I should change this, but whatever. So in the preview, it'll tell you here in this possible DNA combinations. So this is the number of possible NFTs that you can generate. And so this is, right now we have 256. And we set a max number of NFTs as 500. I think that would throw an error if we ran it to generate the images proper without preview. But I'm not sure. I forgot how I coded that part. It might just do it actually. I'm not sure. But yeah, so this number right here will give you the maximum number of possible combinations. So we have 256 right here, and if you wanted to do it by hand, that's fine. How we would do that is we would just multiply the number of variants in here by the number of variants in here, and then by the number of variants in text, and then the number of variants in area, light, sphere, and then cube. Yeah, so again with preview, it's not currently running for 3D models. I'll get that up and running soon, like most of it, yeah. It is planned. How can we distribute the rendering part on more computers to make it faster? Yes, that is the, so someone asked, I'm just gonna grab some water, one sec. So, excuse me. So that's a good question. How can we distribute the rendering part on more computers to make it faster? I have good news for you. The reason we have split the NFT record up into batches is for that exact purpose. So if you go into batches here, and let's say you run this, you turn this to false, you run this at 256. So let's say we want to max at 200, and then we want 10 batches. Let's say 50. We want 50 NFTs per batch, and then render batch 1. So if we run this, we will get 4 batches. I hope. Oh no, it didn't work. Okay, maybe there's something I forgot to change there. Let's just ignore that. So when you run it, and we have 200 NFTs as our max, and that variable 50 NFTs per batch, we will get 50 NFTs per batch. So it splits it up into those batches. Now, in that batch, we can take out one of those batches and then send it to another computer with this blend my NFTs script open. And yeah, it's just that's how we're planning on rendering it, rendering our NFT collection with different computers. So right now, I think it takes like 5 minutes on one of our computers. That's my brother's computer. He's the 3D model whiz on this project, so it goes a lot faster. My computer, I think it's 12 minutes, and then we have a third computer for my other brother, but we haven't tested it on that. Yeah. So if you run it on one computer with the blend file, actually all computers should have the blend file. If you run the DNA generator and the script, the batch sorter on one computer, you can copy and paste like 50 or however many batches you have, and then send them to your other computer, and then put that into the same setup, and then just run through each of those batches with the image generator by setting render batch 1 to 1, and then incrementing up for however many batches you have. Yeah. So that's how we're gonna do it. Could probably be an easier way. I've looked at Render Farm, or no, what was it called? Crowd Render. It's like a software where if you have like computers and laptops, you can render one thing, but it separates them into images separately. So it's kind of not built for the purpose we're looking for. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we looked into that. That was initially what we looked into cloud computing and stuff, and it's too much money for the project right now. So we're just yeah. So what else is under coding roadmap? So right now, I'm going to be working on the metadata part. I keep bouncing around from feature to feature, but I love coding new stuff all the time, so it's my thing. I hate going back and looking at old code, and I guess not hating it. I love problem solving. That's the thing. I love problem solving. So here on our GitHub page, you can check out this projects tab, and here we have just everything that I'm working on, any ideas I have, or anything people suggest. Yeah, anything people suggest, it's just here on the projects thing. So, excuse me. So I have it set up here for the 3D model implementation. This is old. I think I have a lot of the stuff done already. Some stuff here, rarity to the README file. I still have to add rarity to 3D models. I've already done this. I just have to add it to the README file. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, and then add ability. Yeah, so this should probably be higher priority than, I can't change it. I'm not signed in right now, but yeah, so all these projects here are just my workflow and all that stuff. So it's yeah, that's it. I just want to see what else I have. I haven't looked at some of these in a little while. I've been focusing on little things. So the Blender add-on UI, I've done some research into that. That's the next big thing. So right now I have a lot of little things to work on. I could probably make my way through it pretty quickly if I was just full-time working on this thing, but I have a job right now, so I gotta do that. But I have a lot of little things just to improve the functionality and make it easier for people to use as it is right now. So I'm gonna work on those little things first with the Rarity Sorter and the DNA generator, just to make that function as best as it can. And then the next big thing would be the Blender GUI. So the user, so like if you were to download, I don't know any Blender add-ons so far. This is still crashing. Let me close this. I forget what I was doing there. Let me go here. Okay, so if you're on Blender and you have like some add-on installed, there might be like a tab here on the side that you can click and change some stuff, or maybe in here there's like a tab. I'm not very familiar with Blender, but you can like open different programs and all that stuff and have like these, not programs, I don't know what they're called. Yeah, that's the problem. I actually don't know what those are called. I need them, but yeah. So the plan is to have something like this in built into Python. Yeah, like it built into Blender. Yeah, like a plugin or an add-on. Yeah. So just to have like everything in config.py hopefully will be available in a GUI form here in Blender. That's the plan with the add-on part. That's going to be maybe a month or two down the road, depending on how long it takes me to implement all the little things into all the scripts. But yeah, that's the next big plan thing. I'm still doing initial research on it and trying to figure out how it'll all work together. But yeah. Yeah, metadata would definitely be the last thing to get it complete, to like fully work from start to finish, which is probably why a lot of people have been asking for it. But yeah, that'll be finished. I hope by this weekend sometime. I can work it out. Yeah. Awesome. All right. trying to think if there's anything else I didn't cover. A lot of the stuff in here is new. So if you've watched the YouTube tutorials and you haven't seen, what's it called? And you aren't seeing some of the stuff in here, that's probably because I've changed a lot of it. And if the README file will not help you either. And I gotta change that as well. But yeah, this tutorial will be uploaded to YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hello. This was a very chaotic stream, in my opinion, but I hope it makes sense. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Does anyone have any last minute questions, anything like that? All right, I'll think about it. It's just a passion project. I just like doing it. All right, we'll see, maybe. You guys are too kind. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Right, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. That might be a good idea, actually. Yeah. I'll screenshot that. It's going on the list of to do. Yeah, so metadata would probably be at latest Sunday, maybe Monday. I'm just trying to think. I haven't started on it, so I don't know what it's going to look like. It could be like lots of time to lots of hours, but yeah, that's it should be Sunday. My personal deadline is Sunday, but if I can't get it done, it's definitely next week sometime. Yeah, but I got lots of time to work on it. No problem. Sorry, what was the... Yeah, so for the 3D Rarity and the 3D model stuff, it's currently just running everything. I want to say it's running just off of this folder here, just off of the 3D model stuff. It's not generating an NFT record or a batch thing. And the reason I programmed it like that was because it generates them really fast. Like it's like milliseconds for 1,000 models. Obviously that goes up with the more models you have, but that's why I chose to do that, because in my opinion there's no need for batches just because of the speed. I could be completely wrong, and there's like someone out there with thousands of models per NFT, so maybe I'll look at implementing the batch stuff in the future. But yeah, the reason the rarity isn't in it is because there's no DNA. So and the DNA is dependent on the rarity, and the rarity is dependent on the DNA. So it's like I forget the terminology, but yeah. Oh, awesome. I'm just reading the comment here. Yeah, recursive. If you want to see my... Sure, yeah. Yeah, I might have to talk to our 3D model guy, my brother, about that, the 3D model artist. So yeah, thank you for the offer. That's very kind of you. Awesome. All right, I think I'm gonna call it here. I'd love to stay and chat, but I need to go to the bathroom and then eat. So my camera is blurry. Anyway, I'm going on talking. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording. Goodbye, YouTube.